Hi, welcome back to Wallflowers. So today I'm making something completely different. I've never made this before. Those of you following the channel, you'll know I have so many eggs at the moment because I've been able to get 30 eggs a week at the moment free of charge. So today I'm going to make a curd, but I'm not making a lemon curd. I'm actually making a blackcurrant curd. And rather than make it from fresh blackcurrants, I'm actually making it from a tub. Actually got this from the Food Initiative quite a while ago, and it's been sat on the pantry shelf. And I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but the date is 2020. I'm quite happy to use this today, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm not leaving stuff too long on the pantry shelf. Some of you may not be happy using things dated 2020, but I'm more than happy to use this today. I know there's a high sugar content in it, and I know it's still preserved quite well, so I'm going to use this to make the curd with today, so I won't have to actually add any extra sugar. So let's start. I'll start by opening it. And inside it's all sealed in.
Probably got a fair coat on
it. It'll be fine, it'll be perfectly fine. You should be used to this, Mr. Wallflowers. We've eaten like this for a long, long time.
No problem.
So inside
Perfect.
we have, it's just blackberry filling. Now I would normally decant this into the jam jars and we'd use this as jam, and I'm quite happy. So what I'm going to do today is just pour it straight into the pan. Now the curd recipe that I'm following, I'm having to times it by 5. Normally this recipe is just 500 grams of blackcurrants, either fresh, canned, frozen, whichever way they come. As I say, I'm using, this is called a fruit topping and pie filling. Now I purchased this for just £1, and I quite regularly pick the tubs up for just £1. I picked this one up last week, and it's a Breaks brand raspberry jam already made. And today I did the same process. I heated it up in the saucepan and I brought it to a jam liquid. I heated the jars in the oven and I managed to get 7 jars. Poured the liquid in hot. While the jars were hot, placed the lids on and let them seal themselves, the way we make jam naturally. So they're self-sealed with the heat and the temperature, and now I just need to rinse my hands. Now I'm going to do the same process with the blackcurrant to begin with. If I can just reach across, Mr. Wallflowers. So I'm going to bring this, I'm going to keep calling it jam. It says pie filling on the label, but I use it as jam. So I'm going to bring this to more of a liquid. I'm going to add, just let me check how much. I'm actually adding 500 mils of lime juice, but the recipe itself calls for 100 mils of lemon juice. I buy the lime in bulk, 5 litre bottles. I have quite a bit of that to still use through, so I'm using the lime juice, which will just do exactly the same as the lemon would. And as I say, I've put 500 mils in there, and I'm going to just bring that to a heat. Keep stirring it. Wash that tub through in a moment. I have the eggs.
2.5 kilo of jam, wasn't it?
It's 2.5 kilo of jam, that's correct. So I'm timesing the recipe by 5. It would normally call for 5 eggs, but I'm using 5 times the amount, which is 25. Now yes, it sounds really extravagant, oh Marianne, you're not that frugal if you're going to be cooking with 25 eggs. But as I've explained several times, I've actually got these eggs completely free. And I don't want to waste the blessing that we've had, and I want to use it as wisely as we can. And when I've made this curd, it'll taste somewhat like cheese topping and cheesecake topping. So I'm going to keep it in the jars, and probably 99.9% of these will be me eating with a spoon out of the jars. But they can be used for cakes, any desserts that you wish to add it to. I'm actually making a cheesecake itself with, so I'm actually going to be using 3 packs of butter, which amounts to 600 grams, and then an additional 25 grams. So what was it, 205, what was it, whatever a fifth of that is. So I've got 625 grams there, and that's the ingredients. The lemon's in the jam, and we've got the butter and the eggs to follow on with. So as I say, I'm just bringing this to a consistency. I do believe the seeds are already out, so I don't have to de-seed it. I don't have to strain this because it'll literally just come somewhat to a juice, and because it's just me eating it, I probably will give a couple away to friends based on the cheesecake flavourings. I'm not actually going to strain it, but the option is, when you've heated this through, or when you make it from the fresh blackcurrants, is to strain it and just use the juice alone. Because mine's already pre-packaged, I'm not going to strain this at all. I'm just going to use it the way it is. So if you'll allow me to come back to you when that's ready, and then we'll move on to the next stage. So the stage we're at now, I've melted the jam, and I've split it into 2 containers, because after adding the butter and the eggs, one container just wouldn't take it all. So I'm going to do 1 container at a time. In the jam pan, I've just under a half filled with water that I'm slowly bringing to the boil and will simmer. Place the jam pan on top, and I'm going to melt in just over half the amount of butter. Bring that to a soft consistency, and then I'll take it off the water and allow it to cool for at least a minute or so, until it's cool enough for me to place my finger in, and then we shall start with the egg mixture. So just checking where we're up to with the water. It's not quite heated up to where it wants it yet, but the jam itself is actually hot. So I'm going to place this container on top of the jam pan. I'm going to add in, I've tried to chop it up, I'm going to add in half the butter, slightly more than half the butter because this one has a bit more in. And I'm going to bring the butter to melt it into the blackcurrant mixture. This is unsalted butter. Again, this is butter I bought from the Food Initiative for £1 a pack. And Mr. Wallflowers and I had a really interesting conversation about butter. I'll just hold one for the sake of it. I've got one in the freezer. So when we refer to butter, we call it a block. Now, if this was gold, or if it was chocolate, or it was any other product, we'd call it a bar. So why do we refer to butter as a block, but we refer to chocolate, gold, other items as a bar. It was something that really intrigued the both of us today. It's not ever referred to as a bar of butter. It's always a block of butter, a stick of butter, but generalised, it's a block of butter. But it is a bar. Why is it not called a bar of butter? Just share that little bit of intriguement and conversation we had earlier today. Well, should I say, I was questioning it, Mr. Wallflowers was looking at me rather than confused. But it's true though, isn't it? It's never referred to as a bar. You don't call it a block of gold.
Mm.
This is melting nicely now.
You don't say block bar sheep.
You don't, then.
Block sheep.
I wondered where you were going with that, but you're right, yeah. Black sheep. Bar. I used to have to watch a cartoon with Crawford. And Bar was the king elephant.
Oh, yeah. Mm.
It's nearly completely in now.
It's like chocolate.
So I did add some sugar actually just to sweeten it up slightly. I just added a parfait jar full. So I'm afraid I don't have any measurements for the sugar that was in this parfait jar. I just added what was in there and then tested it myself, and it just tasted right. So basically sugar's really to our own tasting. Some like it really sweet and some like not so sweet. Some people choose not to add sugar at all now to lots of recipes, don't they? So that's the butter and the sugar and the fruit all mixed really nice together. It looks a nice silky glossy consistency with the butter. So now I'm going to remove it from the heat. So if you could just help me with that, Mr. Wallflowers, just lift it down off the heat for me. Two hands are better than one. Yeah. Put that one up. So tempted to lick my finger then. I stopped. And again, just exactly the same as the last one. Just allow it to melt into the fruit and sugar. Now with me having 25 eggs, I'm going to need a bowl for the shells. So I might just do 12 at once in one bowl. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, so I've got 13 in the bigger pan and save the other 12 for this pan to allow to cool down. So this is 13 eggs I'm beating here in the bowl. The recipe actually calls for straining, but I didn't actually have my sieve. We have a metal colander, a metal sieve. We use it for all kinds. And a couple of days ago it's gone missing. Both Mr. Wallflowers and I have been looking and looking and looking. Every now and again something from the kitchen disappears. And eventually we find it, but can we find what we call the sieve? Can we find it anywhere? It's not in all the usual places. So I don't know what's happened to it, so I'm not straining the eggs today. Normally you'd be able to strain a little bit of the water off, keep the white, keep the yellow, and strain some of the water off. For some reason there's always a little bit of water in the eggs. So that's them fully beaten. There's some mess to clean up with this one. Looking for the hand whisk, Mr. Wallflowers.
The which?
The hand whisk, but I can't find it.
Be with the colander.
Sorry?
Be with the colander.
Yeah, having a party somewhere. So is that fully incorporated? So if we can swap them over, I'll put that one on the back.
Is that coming off there now?
No, just bear with me. Okay, so no, it needs to stay on, but I need this on a...
Yeah, you put your finger in that.
Yeah, I need it on a... If I could have that there, that'd be great. So, I'm actually going to be using the hand whisk whilst I'm adding the eggs. Sorry about the noise, guys. Double check my lens. Okay, I'm just going to have a quick pause, go and look for my whisk and come back and do this next stage. So I've whisked in 13 eggs and now I'm going to return it to the heat. I found my mini whisk and now I'm going to keep on whisking it. Now this can take 10, 15 up to 20 minutes. So basically all you're doing is whisking and whisking on the heat. You don't want it too high, just on a low simmer heat. You're whisking it until it gets to a much thicker consistency. This is really watery. If it should scramble because of the eggs in it, just take it off and whisk and whisk and whisk with all your might until it thickens up again and descrambles basically. It's a common thing, it can happen. I've read lots of recipes on this and before a few days ago I'd never heard of blackcurrant curd or any other flavoured curds other than lemon, so I was really intrigued to try it. So I was so glad to have the abundance of the eggs available so I could do it. Now I have been promising Mr. Wallflowers to make him lemon curd and it's next on the list, honest. But yeah, keep this going. I won't make you watch me all the way through the 10-15 minutes, so as soon as it gets thickened I'll come back and show you. So the first pan, the big pan, is ready for me to decant and the second pan is coming along nicely. So I've been going between using the hand whisk and the hand whisker and it's come to a nice consistency, but I think it'll be even nicer once it cools down, even thicker should I say.
Like a mousse.
Yeah. Just taste it. Skin bit on top. It's lovely. It's fruity, creamy, moussey, and that's now while it's warm. I can't wait to taste a cold one. I have a full jar to myself. It's really nice.
Bit of a mess though.
It is, but isn't most of my cooking? I do the clean up, so I'm allowed to make a mess. That's fair. So let's get them fastened in. They're still very, very hot. I heated these jars up in the oven, so the metal lids are really hot. So let me grab my tea towel. Look a bit browny at this stage, but yeah, tastes delicious. I'm really happy with it. So I shall continue and continue and continue. You can see how much I'm going to get out of this first pan alone, and then I've got a second pan to keep my eye on and get as many puddings for myself and for my friends and family as I possibly can. Okay, I hope it's a recipe you enjoy. I hope it's something you'll give a try. I think I'll do it again. And now, of course, I've got to make Mr. Wallflowers the lemon curd first. He's nodding his head. Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you for joining us today. And we'll speak to you again soon. Bye-bye.